Record. All right. So good morning, everybody. We're going to start just sitting really easily on our yoga mats and have a couple blocks and a strap nearby if you if you have those available. And know that you can sit up on anything that you need to make your seat really comfortable, or don't sit cross-legged. You don't have to do that either. You know all that by now. All right, so then sit well, maybe move the flesh out from the sit bones. And maybe for a change, sit in a way you don't normally sit. So you might have seen me take my legs and switch them so the other one is up front. And I find that really helpful because I always sit the other way. That's my comfort zone. That is my habit. And it's a completely different sensation when I change the legs. So something that simple can make us aware of our bodies, right? Of our surroundings. And then lift up tall through the crown of the head, the tailbone, the sit bones, draw down. And maybe we close our eyes. And we take that first very purposeful breath, right? The first purposeful breath where we give it thought, we feel the air coming in, the oxygen coming in, ideally through the nose. Maybe we let it linger at the top of the breath for a moment, and then we exhale either through nose or through the mouth. And maybe as we really purposefully take these deeper breaths, we notice all of the muscles involved in breathing. So just notice, right? What we don't feel as much is our main muscle of respiration, and that's the diaphragm, right? That goes right below the ribs. It's kind of our halfway point in our torso. That diaphragm compresses down so that we can fill the lungs. So imagine this diaphragm is like a pancake or like an accordion maybe, and as it sits, it's more open, and as we inhale, it closes in, and as we exhale, it opens back up. And it's fascinating. It's just a fascinating muscle when we think about it. And then we have all of the muscles between the ribs and around the chest to help us. Even the upper trapezius can help with breathing. Those are all accessory muscles. Something we take for granted in a good way, right? That we breathe without having to think about breathing. Someone once said that if we had to think about breathing, purposefully think about and breathe, we would do nothing else all day except concentrate on breathing. Good. One more very purposeful breath here. And then let the eyes open up. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, interlace those hands, press them up to the ceiling. As you exhale, bring them down and into the belly. Let me scoot forward. I'm out of room. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, curl it in. Just starting to do a little seated cat and cow as we warm up our spines. And reach it up. Exhale, curl it in. Good. Last one. Reach up. Exhale, curl it in. Hold that curl in right here. Take the arms out in front of you. Pull the shoulder blades back And as you open the arms, lift your chest, maybe tilt forward just a little bit. And then exhale, touch your palms, curl everything in, tuck the chin. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, tuck it in. Good. And open, hold here. Bring your spine back to neutral. So drop that tailbone back down. Reach the arms up, grab your left wrist and take it over to the right. Just stretch it out. Oh, and notice the shoulder, right? Maybe wiggle that left shoulder forward and back, a little twist of the torso. Go really easy here, though. That's it. And inhale, center. Take the right wrist, reach it over. And same thing, maybe wiggle that chest a little bit, move the shoulder forward and back. And breathe. And take it all center. Exhale, let those hands come down. Roll your shoulders and shake it out. Inhale, take the arms up. Let your right hand come to the floor. Reach the left arm over and purposefully press the left hip down. Tone the belly in here. Soften the right shoulder and the right elbow so that you're not crunching up there. And then take the left arm over your right knee. Inhale the arm straight up, take it back behind you, come into an open twist. So both shoulders are open, both hands are reaching behind you. You're just reaching through the chest, reaching through the belly. Nice. Inhale the same left arm, reach it up, take it back across, let that hand come down to the floor in front of your right knee. Your right hand comes out as well, both shoulders open up. Press back through the left hip. Find your breath. Walk your hands to center and come all the way up. Nice. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, left hand goes down, right arm goes over. Your left shoulder rolls back and down. It's soft. Your head is in alignment, right? You're not looking up, you're not looking down. Find that breath. And then reach over your left knee. Inhale the arm up, take it at a diagonal behind you. Leave both hands, both arms open. The chest is wide open here. You're just gazing over the right side, feeling the torso move. And reach the right arm back up. Take it over your left knee. Let that hand come to the floor. Let your left hand come out as well. Open the shoulders back up. Squeeze the belly in. Walk your hands to center. And come on up. Oh, very, very nice. All right, so let's shake out the legs. Grab your strap. Hopefully you have one. Take the feet, the legs straight out in front of you, and just do some simple ankle rolls. So just curl and roll those ankles. You can see like half my feet in the screen, and circle the other way. And imagine that you're a kid, right? And you're just sitting up, and sitting up is easy for you because you're young and your spine is nice and supple. And you're just kind of exploring your ankles. You're just exploring what your toes can do. Maybe you spread them and stretch them, right? Maybe you drop both ankles out to the sides and then bring them in. Just kind of get a sense of that, like a sense of curiosity. And then point one foot and flex the other. And breathe. So one set of toes is really reaching the front of that ankle, the other foot nice and strong and flexed. And then switch, point. That's it. Good. One more, both sides. Point one foot, flex the other. It's almost a brain thing, right? It's like patting your head and rubbing your belly. And switch. Good. And release it. And then find Dandasana. Roll the shoulders back. So I say that a lot, right? But we're trying to resist this rounding of these shoulders forward, which hunches that back, or vice versa. The hunch of the back rolls the shoulders forward. So we really want to work on that. Find Dandasana, both feet pressing out straight and even. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hold the arms up if you can. If you do that and you find you're leaning back, you're curling back, take the hands down instead. And just breathe and just kind of snuggle. Snuggle in with the sit bones. And notice. Yeah, breathe, everybody. Choice number one, leave those hands up. Choice number two, take the hands down. But in either case, see if you can lift your left leg. I know we do this a lot, but it's a really awesome one core work, two quad, right? Thigh work. Big deep breath. Find your pose and then bring the left foot in. Turn the knee out to the side and take your left leg into Janu Sirsasana, or both legs, but take your body into Janu Sirsasana. Sirsasana. Take the arms out, reach. Let the hands come to the floor. Good. Check your right leg. That right leg is long. Check that leg again. Make sure it's nice and grounded. Grab your strap and take it around your right foot. And just start to get a sense of what's happening in your right leg, right? Especially if you haven't done any warm up, like if you haven't gone for a walk or anything yet this morning, the hamstrings are going to take a bit longer to get moving. And then take your right foot, right leg, just drop the foot out to the right and feel the sensation along the whole inside of your leg. Yep. And then point the toes up and then see if you can drop them in any amount. They're not going to go very far. Let's see if they'll drop in. Take them straight, drop them out again. Take them straight and drop them in. And then take the toes and keep them pointing straight up. Maybe walk those hands down the strap. Maybe hold on to your foot. Just watch for that over rounding of the shoulders. And then come into a purposeful breath again. So notice that. Feel the ribs, feel the diaphragm, feel the belly, all of that moving in conjunction with your breath. Say hello to your hamstrings, right? One way to bring opening in the muscles is through the breath. So we just pause, we breathe. Good. Roll everything back up. Release your strap. Open up your shoulders. Release your pose. Both legs are straight. Shake them out. Roll the shoulders back. Hands are either down at your sides or the hands reach up. Good. Press through both ball mounds of the feet, right? Really reach it out. I'm spreading out my toes. I'm getting those feet nice and active. Either the hands stay up or they come back down. Bend your right, oops, sorry, lift your right leg. Oh, almost forgot. Good. Breathe. Keep lifting up through the chest as you lift that leg, finding some nice sensation through that right thigh, that right quadricep muscle. And then bend the knee. And then without touching it, just turn that knee out to the side. Let the foot come to the inside of your left leg. Lift up tall, swan dive forward. Pause here. And then let your hands come to the floor. If once you're there, and I didn't say this on the other side, if once you're there, you want to adjust the foot that's pressing to the inner thigh, go ahead and adjust it because we can't always get it there, right? We can't get it there without the hands sometimes. And then use your strap or not. Just stay lifted a little bit, stay nice and tall, and turn your left foot out to the left side. It's a really interesting move here to create that inner line stretch, especially with the foot flexed. And point up and then to the inside, any amount. Good. Up and to the outside. And center and to the inside. And then back to center. Maybe walk the hands down your strap. Maybe you don't need the strap this morning. You can take your hands to your foot. You can take your hands to your shin, right? Strap isn't necessary here. It just can help in keeping the shoulders and the chest from over rounding. Stretch it out, everybody. And roll it up. Release it. Good. Set your strap aside. Take your right knee up and press it out and release completely. We're going to try to do so. This next little series, we're going to try to do this without using our hands to help our legs. You're welcome to put the hands down on the floor, especially if it's a challenge to sit upright, or you can just kind of hold your hands anywhere that feels comfortable. So bend your left knee, set your knee out to the side and drop it. We just did this in Janu. And then lift it up and straighten it. Good. Go to the other side. Bring the right knee in, open it out to the side. Bring it back up and reach. Good. And again, left side, out, up, and open. Good. Bring it up. Turn it out to the side, right side, up and down. Good. We're doing two more on each side. Bring it in, open it up. Bring it up, release. Right side, bring it up. No hands if you can help it. Turn it out, bring it up, straighten. Last one on this side. Hold it here. Come back to Janu Sirsasana. Now I want you to think tree pose. So press your left foot into your right thigh and feel your torso really tall here as you activate the legs. So press your right leg into your foot. Press your foot back into your leg. Feel the inner thigh of your left leg having to do some work here. Stay tall, stay tall. Big deep breath. And release it. No hands. Straighten it up. Good. Last one, last side. Lift your right leg. Turn it out to the side. Press your right foot into your thigh. Press your thigh back into your foot. Stay lifted. Stay tall. Yep, breathe. Lots of activity in the legs. Keep reaching. Good. And release, knee to the ceiling and straight out. Shake it out. Shake out your hands wherever they were. And then final pose here, you're going to come to Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Some people call this cobbler pose. Soles of the feet are together. So I find this pose interesting. In yin, your feet would be out way further, more of a diamond pattern with your legs if you were to look down. And in regular hatha yoga, your feet are closer to your groin. So for you, find the happy place. And the happy place is where there is no strain. The other option too, if your hips are either face forward facing more, right? So they don't come out to the side like this, or if they're just really tight, you can take a block under each knee and let that block ease the inner thigh stretch a little bit. That's so helpful. And if your knees are kind of hanging in space, please take the time to set a couple blocks under there. And then just notice. Right. So in yoga, we don't bounce, and maybe you see me kind of bouncing my knees a little bit. I'm just giving them a little bit of a wake up, but I'm not bouncing, and I never push down on my knees. So, or I won't say never. I have on occasion, but you're not supposed to. So don't do it. And breathe. Shoulders are nice and wide. We're just going to let these sweet little inner thighs open up. Take both hands to the tops of your knees, wherever those knees are, and push the knees up into your hands. So push up. There's a difference between pushing down and pushing up. When we push up, we activate those muscles. It's like an active, isolated stretch. We're getting those muscles nice and fired up, and then we just release them down. Good. Let's do that again. Push up into your hands. So push those inner knees into your hands. By the way, if this hurts, please don't do it. Take a deep breath. Push up and release. Good. We have one more here. Push up. Find your breath. Press into your feet. Keep it active. And release. Good. And then bring both knees up and just hold them together for a moment. Keep your right knee pointing up. Take your left leg out at a big diagonal. So not right in front of you like Janu, but out to the side where it is comfortable for you. And then just let your right knee drop to the side. And again, adjust as you need to. If this doesn't feel good, you shorten it up until it feels better. Otherwise, you just stay a little bit wide. The hands come forward just to the floor. The spine lengthens, the shoulders open up. Here we are, right? That inner thigh line once again. If you have any knee issues here and you feel a yucky sensation, bend the knee or put a block underneath your knee and give it a little bit more space to warm up. So just notice again as we play with the inner thigh, try to keep your toes pointing more upward than sideways. Press the heel into the floor, lengthen your spine, feel this big old stretch. And then take the hands up, reach up, inhale. As you exhale, your left hand goes to the inside of your left leg and you stretch over to the left. Big old stretch here. Find your breath. Just breathe, everyone. And inhale up. Exhale, release. Good. So listen up. You're going to take no hands if you can help it. Take your left leg back to Baddha Konasana. Oh, that wasn't so bad, right? Keep your left knee where it is. Release your right leg and set it out to the side. Here we are again. Feet are active, legs are active. Your torso is nice and tall. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, just put them in front of you. For a lot of us, myself included, that's plenty enough stretch for that inner line of the leg. I don't need to go any further. And if I did at this point in class, all I would do is round forward. And I'm not really interested in that. So I just sit upright. I take in the sensation through this long line of my muscles. Find my breath. Press down through the sit bones. Remember, you can always bend that right knee if that would feel better for you. And just breathe. And as you inhale, take the arms up. Take your right hand down inside your right leg and stretch over the left side. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We're almost done with this little series of inner line work. And take the arms up. Exhale them back to your heart. Without using your hands, take your right leg back to Baddha Konasana. Here's where it'll get the final tricky thing. And you can take the hands behind, that might help. In fact, let's all do that for the first one. Just take your hands behind you so you have some support. Bring the knees up enough that you have some purchase. See if you can get them off the floor, feet off the floor, and stretch them both out wide. From there, slide them in, go to Baddha Konasana. I know, right? Interesting stuff. Lift, spread them out. Watch your hips, everybody. And bring them in and release. Good. Try it without your hands. We're just doing 3 more of these. So lift the knees enough that you can find some way to get those feet off the floor. Take them out to the sides. Check that out. And then lean back enough to bring them in. Good. 2 more. Lift, spread out, and bring them in. That's hard work, right? We're working those inner legs. And last one, lift, spread them out. Hold here if you can. Hands come back to the floor. Lift your hips and press your sit bones back. And then come on back down. I love these leggings. I look like a little candy stripe here, gray and white or gray and black candy stripe. So lift up nice and tall. Flex your feet. Find your breath. Take one hand to your sternum, your breastbone, your heart, and move the chest forward. Okay. So it's not here rounding, it's pulling the chest as if you had a string here and you were pulling it forward. Hold that, find the sensation in the legs that is okay for you, and then let the hands come to the floor. Good. And then notice what's happening. So I get a lot of sensation here, especially around the inner knee. So I'm super mindful of what's happening in the legs and in the inner groin as I stretch forward. Just notice. Shoulders are wide, right? We are honoring this process. We're paying attention to our bodies. No pain, no pain. Breathe. And bring the arms up. Take your hands to your hearts. Last one, slide the heels in. Baddha Konasana. Hands to knees. Bring those knees in and just give them a good squeeze. Good. And release. Well done, everybody. Blocks to the front of your mat. Your strap is off to the side. We're not going to need that right now. You might want a blanket under the knees if you have one and would like to use one. So start in table pose and then press your right leg back. Tone the belly in, all those things you know, nice long spine, lift your right leg, hold it right there, take the left arm out. Balancing table, nice little core work here. Use your breath. You're gazing down at your mat. Your neck is nice and long. You're having the time of your life here. Just breathe. Good. Take the left hand down. Take your right knee to your right elbow and circle that hip. So big circle to that outside, bringing it out, brushing maybe your elbow and kicking it back. Good. One more big circle. And as you release it, knee to knee, and then reach that same knee out. Remember the old fire hydrants? Here we are. Try not to drop the chest. Move from that outer hip. Just 3 more. 3. Nice and slow. 2. And 1. Good. Final thing here. Stretch that leg out. Put that foot on the floor. So now you have your left knee right under your left hip. Your right leg is out to the side. Walk your hands up. And here we are in gate pose. I'm going to turn to the side. And if you were all in front of me, you could help me remember all of that for the other side. So gate pose, pressing through that long leg, being mindful of the knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, your right hand slides down your leg. Your left arm goes overhead. That right hand is just barely touching the leg. It's not pressing down. Oh yeah, feel that stretch, everybody. It's a beautiful thing. You got it. Inhale, both arms up. Take your left hand to your left hip and stretch the other way. Tone the belly in. Press from foot to fingertips. Some of you are going to slide that left arm down and maybe touch the floor. Maybe not. Don't overdo. You got it. Stretch it up, arm up. Both hands to the floor. I'm gonna turn sideways so I'm back where you are. You're just gonna bring that right knee in and shake it out. Maybe find a little bit of child's pose here. Just stretching out those hips. Good, I'm gonna turn around. I already did. We're coming back up. Remember where we were, tone the belly in, nice table pose. Press your left leg back and feel that nice stretch. Bring everything back to center, lift your left leg. Hold. When and if you're ready, the right arm reaches. Again, balancing table, right? This nice, really strong core pose that takes care of the whole belly, shoulder, glutes, right? Such an awesome pose. This is how we have to look at it. This is an awesome pose, right? It's not too hard. We could do it. Take the right hand down, circle the left knee. Maybe you brush your elbow along the way. Hip work, babies. You got it. That's it. This is 3. Go slow. Don't rush it. 4 and 5. And then knee to knee. That left knee goes straight out to the side. Strong pose. And down. Bring it back up. And down. Here's 3. You got this. And 4. Woo. Good. Last one. Pause at the top. Stretch that leg out, lower that foot to the floor. Here we are, gate pose once again. Walk the hands up. Just gonna turn so you can see, right? So here we are, press through that long leg. Inhale the arms up. As you're ready, the left hand slides down. Yeah, feel that. Notice your breath. Are you overdoing it, right? If you need a break, you always can take a break. And both arms up. Right hand to right hip. Reach and stretch. Once again, some of you are going to slide that hand down a little bit, maybe halfway. Maybe the fingertips touch the floor and you can find that big long stretch from your foot to your fingertips. Hardest part here is sliding it back up. Reach both arms up, take both hands to the floor, slide your left leg back in. Come to table pose. Flip your toes under, squeeze your belly, and find downward facing dog. Yeehaw, we're done with that section. Stretch out your feet, pedal them, just walk in place, stretch everything out. Shake out your side body and come all the way back, hands to feet. Breathe, bend your knees. Hands come to knees, roll your shoulders as you come all the way up to standing. Well done, everybody. Just shake it out. Grab one of your blocks. So we just did a whole bunch of inner thigh work. So we're going to work the inner thighs a little bit differently. Take it matches. Look at that. All right. So grab the block between your thighs and give that block a good squeeze. That in and of itself should feel good. When we really stretch those inner thighs and then we bring them back in and contract the muscles, it usually feels really nice. So toes are pointing forward. You're in a nice tall mountain pose. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, come into a real easy forward fold. Your fingertips are to the floor. Back of your head is nice and long. You're squeezing your block. Walk your hands forward a little bit. Again, I'll turn sideways so that you have a really long torso. Squeeze your block. Lengthen through your spine. Stretch it out and then lean into your heels like you could almost like fall backwards. Don't go that far, but lean into your heels and feel the stretch through your whole spine. And then lean forward, walk your hands forward, tiptoe your feet back. You're back in downward facing dog. That block is between your legs. So you're squeezing the block. Now you've got all this activity going on, and it should feel really sweet, right? From here, plank pose. Block is still between your legs. You might have to scoot your hands forward or your toes back to find that the belly is engaged. Everybody breathe. Lower your knees to the floor. Come down a little chaturanga, right? Lower down. Release to a low cobra. Block is still there. I know it feels funky at this point. Flip your toes under. Back to plank. Back to down dog. You got it. Walk your hands back to your feet. Find your breath. Squeeze your block and come up to standing. Nice. Take that block out. So notice how that felt, right? How active the legs were through that whole series. We're going to do that again without the block, but I want you to pretend the block is there. So maybe from the back of your mat, we find mountain pose, right? It's like, oh, there it is. I'm grounded, I'm lifted. I feel like I could stay here forever. Inhale, reach up. Feel the block between your legs, right? Isometric work. Take the hands down. Pause. Just find your forward fold. Maybe widen through the sit bones. Walk the hands forward just a little bit. Open up the shoulders. Squeeze the imaginary block. Notice how that engages the whole midline of your body. All of a sudden, we have more power, right? We have more purchase in the pose. And then lean back into your heels. There's your hamstrings. Woo, yeah. Find your breath. Notice. Squeeze the imaginary block as you walk those hands out to downward facing dog. Here we are again. You'll notice, right? Even if you don't pretend the block is there, the legs don't feel quite as engaged in the pose. But as soon as you squeeze the block or the imaginary block, you've got more energy for the back legs. From here to plank, find your breath, open up your shoulders, squeeze the imaginary block, let the knees come to the floor, elbows go back as we lower chaturanga to a low cobra, right? Easy, easy. Legs are active. Flip your toes to plank, to down dog. Breathe. Walk your hands back to your feet, all the way back. Open up your shoulders, lengthen through your spine, bend your knees, and inhale all the way up. And exhale. Well done. How'd that feel, right? Just that we start to notice things differently. Grab your block again. Take between your knees, or I'm sorry, between your thighs. Feel that, squeeze it in. Inhale up. Exhale your hands to your heart and come into a nice, decent squat. Right? Before you, watch your knees, everybody. And then lengthen your tailbone, lift your chest. And then lengthen your tailbone even more, right? So we're like really lifting or lengthening down here to keep space in the low back. Lift your chest. Find your squat or your chair pose. You knew it was coming. Take the arms out. Squeeze your block. What did that do to your pose? Unsqueeze your block like it's barely going to stay there. And feel the legs. And then squeeze the block. Not a bunch, 20%, 30%. Hands to heart. Twist to your left and take your right elbow toward your left knee. Gaze over your hands. Smile, squeeze the block some more. I know you're feeling your legs at this point. Breathe. You know you can always come out. Come center. I feel them. You're not alone. Take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Squeeze your block. Find your breath. Take it center. Squeeze your belly. Inhale it all the way up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Shake it out. Set your block aside. Feel your legs, right? They are awake. They're alive. They're awake. You're alive. Roll it out. All right, you know what's coming. Pretend the block is there. Fire up your legs. Feel the hips, the glutes engage. Inhale, reach up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Roll the shoulders. Lengthen your tailbone. Lift your chest. Same thing. In chair pose, the hardest thing is not sitting in your lower back. If you feel like you are, first lengthen tailbone, lift chest, still in your back, come up higher, whatever it takes for you not to distress this area. Pretend you're squeezing the block. Oh, right, there it is. Whew. Breathe. Optionally, take the arms out. Find your chair pose. Breathe. I know, I feel them too. I am with you in spirit. Take your hands to your heart. Right elbow to left knee. Don't let the knees curl to the middle. Squeeze the block. Find your pose. Take it center. Go to the other side. Breathe. That's it. And center. And inhale up. Exhale your hands, mountain pose. And shake it out. Well done. So, how's that feel? How'd the legs feel? What does that all mean for balance, right? When we're playing with balance poses, All of this has to be active. So pretend there's a block there, even though we're not going to use one right now. And then draw the legs toward each other, engage the hips, the glutes. Take your hands to your hips. Simply take your left leg, left foot, and turn it out to the side. When you do that, don't get all like hanging out in the right hip, right? No sassy hip. We're going to draw it in, draw it in, draw it in to the center of your body so that that leg can support you. And then simply slide your left foot up, no hands, and slide it back down. Here we go again. Slide it up. Woo, balance work. And down. What are we playing with, right? A little bit of tree pose here. Slide it up, pause, squeeze your butt in, place your foot on your thigh, then use your hand to find your tree pose. Doesn't have to be this high, you know that. Now lengthen your spine, crown of the head up, your foot pressing down as if it were going to grow roots into the earth. Push your thigh into your foot into your thigh, just like we did when we were sitting on the floor. That's it. Choice 1 here, choice 2, come on out, that's enough. Choice 3, the arms, come up. Breathe, everybody. Push your leg into your foot into your leg. Keep that standing leg as active as you can, but notice when you push the foot into the leg, that leg gets really active. All right, hands to heart, listen up. No hands, slide it down, and release it. Shake out that standing leg. Shake it out. Roll it out. Don't make it so serious. You know, when we're doing this part, you can just keep doing that part, right? Slide up, slide down. It's all good. All right, so good mountain pose. Hands start at your hips. Fire up your legs. Turn your right foot out to the side. Just slide it up your leg, any amount, and slide it back down. Slide it up. And down. Yep, one more here. Slide it up, hold, let it land somewhere, and then use your hand to adjust it, and then squeeze the standing legs hip in. Tone the belly, get really tall, hands to heart. Play with your legs, right? Pressing the thigh into the foot into the thigh. Yeah, you got it. Arms out optionally. Keep the standing leg active. Don't let it drop. Don't let it, recovery, right? We got this. Breathe. As soon as I take my eyes off my still spot and I look at the computer screen, I'm like, wow. Breathe. Hands come back to your heart. Just slide it back down. And release. Well done. Well done. Well done. I know you were with me that whole way. Come on back to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Soften the knees, step back. Let's step back left leg. And then lower your knee to the floor. Release. Take one of your blocks maybe under your left hand. That's optional. You don't really need it, but sometimes it can just make it a little bit easier to move the torso when you're a little higher up. From here, reach the right arm up and out to the side. So little twist here. Use your breath. Squeeze your left glute. Keep it active. Optionally, for some of you, you're going to lift your left knee off the floor. So you're in a high lunge twist instead. Just breathe. Relax your jaw, right? Tone the belly. Let that core support you. We're going to come back to core, by the way. Breathe. Lower your left knee if it's lifted. You're going to take your right hand to your right knee, turn off to the pinky side of your foot, and just splay that knee out to the side on purpose, which means I'm not pushing. I'm just letting gravity kind of take it to the side. And breathe. Inner thigh work, right? Again, notice Breathe. Squeeze your left glute to draw the right knee back up. Set your block aside for a moment. Lift your left knee. Step back down dog. Find your breath. Step forward, left leg. Once you've stepped forward, you've got your good alignment. Lower your right knee to the floor. Take your block under your right hand. Pause here for a second. Just find your good solid lunge. Remember to engage the hip and the glute on that side and take your left arm up. Just breathe, just enjoy this. Are you finding a lot of tension in your head, your neck? What can you do to adjust that? That's it. And then take your left hand to your left knee and just press the left knee out to the side. It's going to lower that right hip. Just be mindful there. Keep the glute active. You're looking over at the left side. You're just creating a little bit of tension all along that inner left thigh. That's it. And bring it back to center. Move your block out of the way. Lift your knee. Oh, I forgot to lift it earlier. Good. And down dog. Lower your knees to the floor. And either come into child's pose or just sit back on your heels and come to hero pose. And just pause. So because I can't see you as we're doing this, we're going to move toward pigeon pose. And pigeon pose is either a pose that you love or you don't for many people. All I want you to do today is explore it. Okay, we're going to come into it a little bit different way. Still that inner thigh work, right? But also working with the hips, which we've been working with all class. And just see where you can go. The biggest issue for people usually is their knees. So it goes without saying that there is zero tolerance for knee pain. Find another way. Find another way. There are so many possibilities. So I just want you to be really mindful, okay? All right, because normally I'd see the grimace, then I would know where you're at. But sans the grimace, I want you to honor your body. So grab both of your blocks. A little bit different than maybe you've seen before. And I want you to take both blocks side by side on your yoga mat. I don't know, roughly halfway, maybe a little bit further up than halfway, but not much. And then come to table pose. And I'm wondering, that might be too high. So they're down low. I want you to step forward with your right foot. You have to step around or over your blocks and lengthen back through your left knee. So you're just in a lunge, right? And one option instead of pigeon is to just come back to that knee out to the side. The other option would be to come onto your back and do figure four. I know all of you know figure four. Otherwise, you're going to start to just walk heel toe your right foot over toward your left thumb or your left wrist. Find that. Think about lowering your right leg to the floor so that your right thigh is sitting on the blocks. It's raising the floor up to meet you. Your right heel is down by the blocks. You're sitting on the blocks. You've got room to move, and maybe you just wiggle a little bit side to side. If this does not feel good, one, come on out completely. Two, you can try to stack blocks just to one side. That takes you nice and high, and you can just play with leveling out the pelvis really high up on two blocks. But if you're okay, stay down on the lower edge of your blocks and think about it. And I know some of you are already walking your hands forward because that feels so good. But I want you to stay up for a moment. Pigeon pose is both a hip opener and a back bend. And as soon as we walk our hands forward, as lovely as this feels, and there's nothing wrong with it ceases to be a back bend. So first we play here. Tone the belly, keep the chest lifted. Some of you are going to be able to take your hands up to your blocks or off the floor completely, right? That's a whole bunch more work. Find your breath. And then, right, so the icing on the cake is this. It's like, oh, isn't that sweet? Right? We can come on down, we can chill out, and we can let the hip open a little bit more organically, less work. If you feel like your blocks are just really not doing a thing for you, you don't really need them, right? Just pop them out and come into your more normal pigeon pose. Coming out is as important. If you have laid down any amount, I want you to press into your hands, engage your glutes, lift your chest, flip your toes under, lift, unleash that leg, step over your blocks if they're there, and come back to down dog. Ooh, yeah, right? Just breathe. And then lower your knees to the floor and either come to child's pose or back to hero pose. So we take the leg out and then we bring the leg back in, right? So everything gets a chance to kind of recalibrate, reset. Notice that. I'm doing the if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, dance in my head. So there you are. All right, let's go to the other side. We've got our blocks. And even if you love pigeon, and I know some of you, we've had these conversations, sometimes the blocks give you new information. You can do this with a bolster, you can do this with a really thick blanket, but sometimes it just gives you different information that is valuable. So you're in table, right? Maybe you come to down dog and step left leg over. Maybe you just step over from table pose and you land your left thigh on your block. And then you wiggle a little bit side to side. You're getting a sense of how does this feel? Am I okay here, right? We create stability. Once we create stability, we create ease. So now I'm just going to check it out. How does it feel? Engage the legs, squeeze an imaginary block. Maybe the hands come up, more back bend. Maybe the hands come to your blocks, more back bend, right? This is pretty tricky. This takes a lot of back work to come up. Maybe the hands come to the heart for a moment. We find where we're at today. And then I'm going to let those hands come back down. Belly's toned. I'm going for the frosting. I'm going to come down. I'm still keeping the pose, right? I'm still keeping the form of the hip, keeping things active. Find your breath. Again, if you want to just remove your blocks, that's okay too. Find that. Maybe you come on down. And as you're ready, tone the belly, right? Let's get the core. Let the core be your aid, right? And moving from this position, press into your hands. Flip your toes under, lift your knee, step back to down dog. This time, take your feet wide in down dog. Take your feet right to the edges of your mat. Bend your knees and then straighten them. Good. Bend your knees and straighten. One more time. Bend your knees. Let them come all the way to the floor. and release out of your pose. We're going to come right to our behinds and breathe. Straighten the legs out in front of you. Just shake them out. And then turn both sets of feet out, or both feet, not both sets, out to the sides, like you're Charlie Chaplin. Yep. And then turn them both in so big toes come together. And both out. And both in. Grab one block. Take it between your legs. Squeeze your block. You can use your hands to sit back if you'd like. Just getting a little reset once again. You got it. And as promised, we're doing some core. So I didn't forget, I just delayed it. So grab one, actually grab both of your blocks if you have them, and set them in front of you toward the end of your mat. We've played with this before and I love it. I just find it a really cool way to really get into boat pose. Great core pose. So I want you to take one heel to one block and one heel to the other block. Both hands are behind your thighs to start. Your knees are bent, right? Obviously. Flex your feet, lift your chest, tone your belly. So here we are in the beginning of boat pose. What makes it work is that little lean back, not rounding, but leaning back until you feel those belly muscles, tighten up a little bit. Keep pressing down into your blocks. Either stay here with hands behind your thighs or reach the arms up. Keep the chest lifted. Think about that string pulling your chest bone forward so that it doesn't drop down. Now imagine there's a block between your thighs. Now the inner thighs are coming into the picture. And then imagine isometrically pulling those blocks forward or pulling your heels forward to get the hamstrings back into operation. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lean forward. Hands come back under your thighs. Step your feet off your blocks. 1, you're staying there. If that was really all you really want to do today, stay with the blocks high. Otherwise, we're going to lower them to second level. Here we are again. Heel, heel, digging them in. Hands either stay behind your thighs. Find that spot where you can stay steady and strong. Belly's engaged. Dig into your blocks. Lift your arms. Lift your chest. Find your breath. Breathe. Yep. Watch the chin too, right? We don't want to lift the chin. That's an 8-pound bowling ball wanting to pull you back. So don't do that. Pull into your belly, pull into the blocks. Maybe lift one foot off your block. Woo, right? Just got a little bit harder. Lower that foot, lift the other one and breathe. Lower that one, lift up. Breathe. Take your feet off your blocks. Lower those blocks down. So now they're at their lowest level. They're side by side. Round 3. Here we go. Press your heels into the blocks. Flex your feet. Lift your chest. Find that engagement of your belly. Lean back as much or as little as you would like without rounding. Arms out. You can always take hands to heart or hands under thighs too. Sometimes these arms out can make you work a lot harder. Press into your blocks. Imagine you're going to drag those blocks back or you're going to tip them back. So you're pulling those blocks back. You're lifting, feeling the pose. Lift one foot. Breathe. Lower that down. Lift the other foot. And lower that down. Good. Lift both feet. You knew that was coming. Woo! Good. Modified boat pose, right? You want to straighten one leg. There that is. Bend it. Straighten the other leg. Woo! And lower those heels down to your blocks and release. All right. Take your feet off your blocks. Set one block aside. Take your other block between your thighs. you're going to know pretty quick whether you go narrow or second level. It's just going to depend on how it feels to you. For me, going second level feels like the better width for boat pose. So we're back where we started. I'm going to squeeze this block. I'm going to flex my feet, lift my chest, lean back. You might stay right here, right? This is awesome work for boat pose. Otherwise, you're going to squeeze your block and lift your heels and lift your chest, and maybe the legs straighten, maybe they don't. Breathe. You got it. Squeeze your block. Find the pose. That's it. Right? We're stepping right on the edge of where this is no longer comfortable. So squeeze, find the edge, just play there for a minute and lower down. Release your lovely block. Well done. Come on down to your back. Just draw your knees to your chest. Pause for a moment. Rock the hips a little bit side to side. Roll over to one side and just come on up long enough to grab one block. Have both blocks near you for later, but just grab one block. And then we'll start with, take the block in your left hand and just kind of set it out as far as it'll go to the left from your hand. So you're just reaching your arm out, right out from your hip, not from your shoulder, but from your hip. And just set that block there and come on back down to your backs. Take your right leg up. Take your left knee out to the left and your right leg out to the right. Just for a second, we're stretching out again. Your shoulders are nice and broad, right? Your upper body pretty relaxed. There's probably a little tone to your belly here. If you can, so here's where we're aiming. We're aiming for that block with our right foot. So as we bring the right leg across, let your left knee drop to the floor, reach that hip across, and see if you can land on your block. For some of you, that's going to be way too low. So you take the block up higher or higher to find the spot where you can pause here. But you should have some good contact. I don't want the leg all the way to the floor if you can help it. In fact, even for me, I think that second level makes a little bit more sense, a little more even with the hip. And then open up the chest so that you're in a nice twist. Your left arm out to the side, your right arm out to the side if you've got the room. Slight tone to the belly, just checking it out. If your right leg can be pretty straight out from the hip, even better. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Breathe. You should feel lots of stuff going on in this outer hip. I like this though. I like the block here. It's almost like a little bit of a training wheel. And without us hanging that leg in space, we can relax the muscles so that they can open up a little bit more. So just breathe. That's it. So we talk a lot in yoga about steadiness and ease, right? So steadiness comes from building strength, for trusting our bodies. That's where that steadiness comes from, so that we are familiar enough with the pose and with our bodies to come to that place that we can hold for a while. And then we find the ease in the pose. If we're always struggling, we're never going to find ease. So here we are. We're just allowing this to happen, right? To stretch. And then squeeze the belly in. As you do that, you're going to support your low back so you don't grab into the low back. Lift the leg enough to bend the knee, and then lift the knee. Set your foot on the floor so your left knee is on the floor and your right leg is pointing straight up. Just pause. And then bring your left leg up to meet it. Good. And then switch sides. So you're going to find your block. I'm just going to turn around so that I have room to move that leg. The block is in your right hand. You're just going to reach it out about as far as you can reach it with that arm. Your right knee is going to lay out to the side. Your left leg is up to the ceiling. Take your left leg out to the side as your right knee drops to the side. We just stretch it a little bit. Your torso is comfortable. You feel, like you could be here for a while. There's no tension in your jaw. There's no undue tension in your chest or belly. Good. And as you're ready, we're going to start to bring the left leg across. Your right knee just drops to the floor. Your left leg finds your block. Again, ideally, leg straight out from the hip. Your chest opens up. Your arms go out to the sides. And you find yourself in this nice little twist, at the same time maybe getting an opening to those hips, that hip work that we've done. Breathe. Remember to relax your jaw, right? Out of habit, we'll tend to get into that tight jaw thing. We don't need it. We don't need it. Big deep breath and let it out. Good. Few more breaths right here. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Just breathe. Good. Big tone to the belly. Lift your leg a little bit, bend the knee, open that knee up, set that foot on the floor so one knee is down on the floor, one knee pointing up toward the ceiling. Just pause. Bring your right knee up to meet your left. Roll both knees over to the side and come on to your bellies. We are almost there, everybody. Just onto your bellies. I want you to come up on your elbows. A little bit of Sphinx pose here. Feel that. And then imagine you have a block between your legs and you're just giving a little inline squeeze, just a little, don't over squeeze. Tops of the feet to the floor, Sphinx pose. Find your breath. 1, you're here. 2, you're going to lower enough to bring the hands under the shoulders for cobra. Stay low. If you're muscling up, you're too high. Allow the hands, the arms, and your belly spine to support you. Breathe. And lower down wherever you are, lower down. Roll back onto your backs. Draw your knees to your chest. Keep your right leg in, stretch your left leg really long. Let it hover an inch or two from the floor. Take that leg up to the ceiling, bend your knee, bring it to chest, straighten your right leg, let it hover. Breathe. Take that leg up to the ceiling, bend your knee, both knees to chest, both feet to the floor, both legs walk down to the corner edges of your mat, and we find Shavasana. So in Shavasana, just do a little bit of a scan, right? Is there any remaining tension in your body that you could breathe through and release? Your lower back is chatty, you know to keep your knees bent. You can take them wide and bring the knees in. But then imagine relaxing from the tips of your toes truly to the crown of your head, so that there is a clear pathway for your breath, for your energy, for your nervous system. Find that soft breath in and out. And just for the last couple of minutes of class, be here fully. Just be in this present moment fully so that you can be present in the pose, in your body, in your mind, in your heart. Soften all the edges. So, knowing that you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. Those of you who are ready, come on, start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, drawing the breath in a little bit deeper as you draw your knees to your chest. Rocking side to side, allow the knees to roll to one side or the other. And as you're ready, come all the way back up to your seated pose.